making a dad joke, and it's 3 minutes of that, and that's it. So like, and I got 40,000 views. Like, I'm good. My dad jokes are, I don't mean to brag, but I got good dad jokes. Don't put me on the spot though, because I won't be able to think of them. But in answer to your question, you find the things that you need to focus on or you really care about, and it's hard to juggle. Sometimes it's a bit of ebb and flow from one to the other. Sometimes I'll like for example, in the last few weeks, I feel like I've been able to give a little less love to the vlog as I've been trying to juggle a bit of real life and making sure the main channel, which is my main priority, can keep going. But then of course, when I'm here at VidCon and this is my thing, I'm like vlogging and it's the cool thing. So that actually brings me to my next point. I would like to open up a vlog in here today. Would you guys be okay being a part of the vlog? Yeah. Okay. Did you all sign the waiver when you came in? Just giving me all ownership of all of your intellectual property and copyright forever? Yeah? Good. So I'm going to I want you guys to be like really cool. Hello? Test. I'm going to turn the mic off. I'll start the vlog so it'll look like I'm in a normal room and it's just like I'm just chilling. And then I'll turn the mic on and I'll turn around. I want you guys to go crazy. Okay? So I'm just like, I'm just chilling out, I think. And then as soon as I start it, as soon as you see this, I want like standing arms and then, make an impression, okay? All right.
Hey guys, really big day ahead of me today. I'm really excited. We've got a lot of things happening. I have a few friends I want you to meet.
They're very beautiful and enthusiastic friends, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. This is cool. This is actually, beautifully, a workshop on creating content on your phone. So there is no more perfect an introduction to a vlog than filming this, and there is no more perfect plug for my vlog than to do this live in Anaheim at VidCon. That was fun. All right, thank you guys. You're very beautiful. All right. So that's probably like a really good intro, aside from self-promotion purposes, because I've just recorded a video file, right? So I'm going to record a couple more, and I'm actually going to show you how I go about putting something together on a vlog. So I'm going to give, this is my, in fact, can I grab a moment, Lance? Excuse me. So, hand for Gareth. Gareth is my production assistant, videographer, editor. He makes everything I do look fancy when it is not fancy. That's his job description. Make him look better than he pretends to be. Okay, so I want to go through as much as I can today to give you as much value as possible, but the message I want to really carry across is that whether you're looking to make something really polished and high production quality, or if you want to make something easy and fast but relatable and watchable, your phone is amazing. I have seen incredible footage captured on the phone. Now that, as you just saw, was a really simple, like just vlog style, like front-facing camera, which is usually the not great camera on the phone, so it never looks as good as the outwards-facing camera. But it's very watchable, right? Most cameras, like 90-something% of cameras, capture really good, like, selfie stuff, because, everyone needs a good selfie, right? Now, there are a few other things you can do to really bring up the visuals and the production value of phone video. Sometimes you can actually install apps that, like, we're used to using the default camera apps, but there are actually apps that are custom camera apps where you can specifically manipulate settings. I think one of them is Lightroom Camera, is a free one that Adobe do. There's a bunch of them. There's like a Pro AV camera one. It's like, just Google like best pro camera app or whatever, and you'll see some reviews and just find what's best for you. Everyone will have a different fit. But you can manipulate the settings and the saturation, the contrast, and learn things about the f-stop and the white balance and the ISO and the frame rate. All of that stuff is on your camera. So if you're into DSLR stuff and you want to try doing phone stuff, but you're a bit like, oh, it doesn't have all my settings. It does. It's crazy, right? So another thing that's really cool, and I just got these last week. It's on a vlog. I got very excited about them and I vlogged it. But these are called moment lenses. There are other kinds of lenses. I'm sure you've probably seen the clips. Has everyone, like, nod if if I see a general movement, you clip on the end and you can add like a wide or a telephoto. Lenses are really fun, and when you get into like playing around with making things look different or cool, you can have a lot of fun with them. These are particularly cool because it's a phone case and you can just snap them in. This is not sponsored and I'm not paid to say this, but I like making things look cool, so they're pretty cool. So you just switch it in like that, rotate 90 degrees, it locks in there. I'm just going to double tap. This is a wide, so I'm going to stand here in the middle, so this will capture more of your beautiful faces. And I'm going to do a pan across here like this, but before I do that, I'm actually only going to go into my settings. I haven't practiced this, so get ready for my mistake. I'm just going to turn on something, if I can find it. Video stabilization. So most phones will have the option to have on or off video stabilization. I personally mostly have it off, because sometimes it comes with auto tracking, like face stuff, and people will be like, is the camera like following your face? And I do a lot of vlogging like this, you know, and it'll move if I'm like doing this, the camera's going blah, 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 right? So sometimes it's not right, but if you're doing a lot of travel stuff or cinematography, or you want something like, you can make short films, really good looking stuff, you may want the video stabilizations on. So to capture a really premium shot, clean my lens badly. You can turn that on, and I'm just going to do a swoop. I'll count you in, and I want you to, we've done a lot of the woo. I think people get bored of doing that, so what if while I'm panning, I'll signal, and when I get to the middle, if you all go, sup, okay, all together, just like, we're going to be really tight, so we'll do a practice one, you ready? Sup. Beautiful, okay. Okay, I'm going to go across, again, I'll signal with my nod. You'll do it together. I'm going to go all the way across. It's going to be good. Ready? And. There was like a lens flare at the end. Oh, that's great. All right. So I have a couple of video files, just two. And I'm just going to start off by going through those two video files. Thank you very much, Gareth. Round of applause for Gareth. Excuse me. I brought the plague with me from Australia. You're welcome. All right. Let's see how this goes. Now, I'm going to start off, before I dive into it, I want to talk about editing programs. There are a bunch of, this is my creative folder, by the way, so I have a few, some related to vlogging, some not, but I use a number of apps to get the most out of vlogging on my phone. Now, for context, and I think I briefly touched on the intro to the channels, but people have been coming in, so I'll just mention again. I have a main channel, everything's on Premiere, recorded in 4K or high resolution with 5 cameras and expensive cameras and multiple editors, and it's a lot of work and a lot more goes into it. But the vlog thing, my vlog channel, which has 350 something thousand subscribers, is 100% and has always been 100% on my phone. Every video was recorded, edited and rendered on my phone. Every thumbnail was screenshotted or captured, manipulated. If there's text, if there's an outline, if it's oversaturated, if there's a meme in the, all 100% done on the phone. Uploaded, tagged, copied, pasted, whatever, and released and launched and monitored on my phone. I've never, except for in extenuating circumstances, gone to the computer to deal with anything with my vlog. And that's the reason I started my vlog. Is because I realized I could do it all on my phone, and I wanted a way to directly communicate with people in a way that was more natural. I used to have to do update videos now and then on my main channel, and anyone who's been looking at panels on the algorithm and all this stuff, you sort of get punished for doing the content that not everyone wants to see. So I was like, well, what if I made a channel where that is what everyone wants to see? If it's just the day-to-day stuff, behind-the-scenes stuff, and the stuff that's coming up for the smaller portion of my passionate audience. And then over time, people are actually following my vlog channel that don't actually watch my main channel videos because they prefer the tone and it's just a really casual behind the scenes thing. So that's a bit more of an in-depth behind the vlog channel. The reason I go into all that is because there are a few ways you can edit. The two I would recommend are Adobe Rush, which is free. And this would be my recommendation for people who are looking to start to learn editing on the phone. Because it's free, and particularly if you're subscribed to the Creative Cloud, there are ways you can like share your projects or bring files from your Creative Cloud library and all that stuff. Adobe do a really good collaborative and file sharing thing. So it's really useful, and they have a great tutorial. So if you want to start learning And I think the info on this panel said if you, like, I think it was in capitals. Was it in capitals? Please bring Adobe Rush on your phone. I would encourage you, if you haven't, to open it up and just look at what it does, because it starts off saying, this is how to use the program. And it's like step by step. This is the scissors icon. It cuts video. It's cool, right? But it's a really, really small, compact and powerful version of Premiere Pro, which we use for the main channel. So you can do a lot with it, but you can also start small and learn quickly. So I'd recommend that, and everyone who has their phone, please like grab it, open it out, and have a look at it if you haven't yet. Then my second recommendation is KineMaster or KineMaster. I don't know how I call it KineMaster. Has anyone heard of this app before? Some people. I recommend this one for people who it's a little more difficult than Rush, but it doesn't dumb it down. So people who prefer the workflows of Premiere Pro, Rush is like the simple version of Premiere Pro, but they try and keep it simple. KineMaster is like the Premiere Pro version for your phone. It's a little less polished than Rush in some ways, but it's really powerful and it's really straightforward. You don't have to go through too many menus or scroll through too many things to get to the main stuff, to do your cropping and your cutting and your underlays and overlays and all that stuff. So I'm going to be using KineMaster, but the general presentation of how clips are put together and edited is universal. You have a video clip. You can expand and contract how visible it is. You can cut it, you can move it, you can shorten and lengthen. We'll get there. So I'm going to open up KineMaster, and I'm going to create a new project, 16 by 9. I'm rushing through this, I'm going to go slow. So I'm going to slow down. You see, you can create. Is that a better pace? Okay. 16 by 9, horizontal. I always get mixed up. Horizontal video, vertical video. If you use that, there is something wrong with you. But I mean, people do stories and stuff, don't they? So I'm such a dad. And then the square ratio. So this is really cool if you want to make like an Instagram story, or if you want to make it an Instagram post, video post. You can use the vertical or the square. I obviously do YouTube a lot, so I'll use the horizontal, and it's good in this format too. I'm going to go into media, and I'm going to select it. Actually organizes your folders by the most recent. You can see my great thumbnails in here. That's my self-obsessed one, me kissing my 3D printed face of myself. I'm proud of that one. If I go into DCIM, you can see, oh, look at that. Oh my God. Anyway. Just ignore it. I'm just going to tap these. You can see yourself in there, can't you? I'll make that into a vlog later. All right, so I'll come out there. I've got 2 clips, okay? So you can see that I'm scrolling through here. That's the video file. I can use my 2 fingers. You know how this works. You press and you go in and you go out, and it makes it bigger or smaller. So that's zooming. So I can make the whole project, those 2 videos I recorded, that big on my timeline, or I can zoom in. And if I want to trim a frame or tweak something within like a frame or 2, I can just zoom in. It's like Minority Report. It's like, you just like scroll, except you don't have the gloves. Anyway, I think my references are cool. No? Okay. So I don't know if we have audio, let's check. Okay, we don't, so I'm going to dub it. Hey everyone, we're at VidCon, and today I have a lot of friends. Oh, look at my friends. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. That thinks of everything. Round of applause for the bottle of water. Thank you, everyone. Bottle of water. All right. Now, I don't actually have audio either, which is fun. So I can't quite see where to cut, but I had 2 really clean takes, so I know roughly where I want to start it and end it for each clip. So I'm going to go back to the start. There's usually a few frames in the beginning there. I'm just going to, okay, the momentum starts there, right? Now, this is something that, especially those of you who are starting to get into this, I would recommend keeping in mind. Motion and the way you go from one clip to another is actually really important. So if I start this video and there's like a pause, or if I'm cutting from one scene to another, and I'm like, okay, and that's that scene. And now I'm in another scene, in that gap is death on YouTube if you're making YouTube content. You really want to be quite snappy. So especially at the start of a video, like, it's one of the first things I was talking to Gareth about when we started working together, is like, you know, you just want to make sure that you're using every second you can to communicate, to entertain, and to do what the intent of your channel is. And dead space is pointless. It's like it doesn't serve any purpose. Unless it does serve a purpose, just try and keep things moving in general. For this type of content. Let me just clarify that. So there you go. So there's a bit of a pause there, so I'll stop there. I'm just going to drag the edge of that clip in to about, there you go, I finished licking my lips. That feels about right. My eyes are half closed. That's how I like to start a video. There we go. So, and also, the beautiful thing about editing, I've found that for 90% of my clips that I record, I start with one of three things. Either a sigh, or so, or, what is it now? There are three things. Sigh, so, okay. Okay, so that was all three in a row. Sometimes I do that. I like to just trim that out, just so it doesn't happen too often. Just be aware of it. Just learn like self-awareness. Anyway, so the clip starts. Again, there's a bit of a gap there, so I'm just going to bring that in. The rest of the clip, I'm confident, was really clean. You guys nailed it. Well done. But then we have a transition into another clip. You can see there's a gap here. So I'm just going to go here, play here, blah, blah, blah. I'm wrapping that up. You can see I start to bring my phone down and my mouth is closed. I know that I'm finished there, so I'm going to drag the end of that clip to just before I awkwardly stop. And then I'm going to jump over to the next clip where you guys, oh my goodness, look at you all. Okay, now remember what I was talking about with motion? The motion begins here, right? So I'm going to stop at the split second after the motion started, so that as soon as the frame starts from the last scene, I'm moving, right? There's no like, people watching it aren't waiting for things to get started. I know I'm like hammering into this when it seems like a really small thing, but it's worth keeping in mind because those small things really add up. And if you have 40 or 50 scene changes or cuts in your video and there's just a little gap, your overall video is going to feel like it's lagging a little bit. So it's important to make sure that momentum keeps going if that is going to be important to your content, particularly if you're doing vlogging or travel content. You know, every second is gold, really, or it should be treated like that. So you can drag the clip ends in any editing program on the planet, like I've just done, or you can hit your scissors and split where the playhead is, just like that. In KineMaster, you also have the option that you can see the first two. You can trim everything to the left or everything to the right of where the playhead is. So I'm going to trim everything to the left, so it starts, boom, we're moving. So, oh, goddamn, look at that lens flare! Oh my God, that was amazing! Great, thank you. Give yourself a... Okay, so there you go. That's the intro to my vlog, by the way, and this will go up on the channel. So here you go, see how it turns out, you see how it goes in practice. Okay, now there's this little thing, this weird little squarey thing between those two clips. This is also something that is in most editing programs on mobile devices. It's a signal that this is a gap between clips, you can use this to do something. So often it's a button, and if you press it, it comes up with options for transitions. Now I just want to show our hands. Is this a pace where you guys are happy with, or am I like saying like the dumbest, like straightforward stuff you already knew before coming here? Like, is this okay? Yeah. Hands up, this is helpful? Okay, who feels like you know this already? Just want to check. Okay, cool. And who feels like this is too fast? Okay, so I feel, just checking we're all on the same page. Because I want you to get as much value out of this as possible. Transition effects, scrolling through here, there's a whole bunch of options. I pretty much don't use anything except for color transitions like fading to black and back, or white and back, or crossfading, which is here in classic transitions. But if you really want some cheesy, stupid stuff, most apps come with those. So if you want like the star wipes, what is this? Whoa, wah, bam! It's like made in friggin' like what was that? Microsoft, some PowerPoint. Thank you. Thank you for making up for my lack of brain. There you go. I'm just going to do a crossfade, and you can see after selecting crossfade in classic transitions, I can scroll the time wheel here and choose to have a long crossfade or a really quick crossfade. And I like to keep it to like half a second to a second, just to keep a really comfortable one. This is a pretty quick transition, so I'm going to go like just a little under half a second, hit my tick, and then I'll play here and look at this. Boom! Look at that. Ah, silky smooth, right? Now, on average, my editing a daily vlog, which usually consists of about 15 to 20 separate video clips, sometimes less, sometimes more, will take me between half an hour to an hour to edit. And that is inclusive of putting in some background music, sometimes putting in some image overlays, sometimes adding some special effects. I'm kidding. there's not, I don't really, there, but you can do some, you can, anyway. Thank you for the occasional laughs, I appreciate that. Okay, so let's pretend that this is my vlog, right? There are a couple of secrets that I want to mention that are really important. The first thing is in regards to audio. How often, who here is making or intends to make content that involves talking? Okay. Who here, put your hands up, those of you who just had your hands up. Keep your hands up if you know what an audio compressor is. Okay, I'm going to make your life happy now, okay? An audio compressor is a filter or effect you can add to a video or audio file that maintains the it boosts the audio levels so that the quieter bits are boosted a bit, and then the louder bits that are peaking or too loud are sort of brought down a little bit. Everything's even, but in general it seems a little louder and a little clearer, right? So often people will start making video content, whether it's on their computer or on their phone, and the speaking audio in particular is a bit muddy or just not very clear. So compression, and there are different names for it, but it's essentially the same thing. In this app, it was called compressor, they've renamed it, but if you tap the clip and then you hit the volume icon, it says auto volume. There'll be something similar in Adobe Rush. I do that for every clip. Every clip, unless it's muted, okay? That is really important because the default audio that your phone records is not great. Now, remember how I added the moment lens to that thing? There are things you can do for audio if you want the really great audio. So you're not just limited to your phone's audio. You can have lav mics and smart little lavs that just plug into the audio jack. You can like go a little crazy and you can record separate audio with a professional audio condenser microphone on a portable device and import that file onto your phone and bring that file or sync it in with your video file and have like, you know, so you can go crazy. But the most important thing I'm actually trying to get across is in either direction, add a compressor and make sure your audio is clear. If you're adding background music, don't just leave it at the default volume. Does everyone know to do that? Okay. For those of you who don't, this is really important because music is usually loud and usually has gone through compression methods to make it as loud as people can tolerate. So if you want background music, even just like feature music, I bring to 80% of volume because it's usually too loud. But if you want background music, I let it sit on average. I'm going to add some background music to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So audio, I wish you could hear it. I can't even hear it, so I'm just going to pick a random song and pretend. This one goes dun, 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 dun. So just pretend you've heard that, all right? So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to go audio, and I'll bring this down to 10%. So it sits behind my voice, 8%, even better, right? And I don't touch auto volume. It's been compressed, it's done the auto leveling and all of that stuff. I don't need to touch that, that's fine. Now I've got background music, that's simple, right? And it follows through under the whole clip. So just like that, like audio leveling is really important, okay? Now, again, anyone who has these apps on your phone, I do encourage you to check it out and have a look at what I'm talking about as we do it, because I want to make sure you leave here with a bit of practical ability to do the stuff I'm talking about. And how are we doing for time? We're going 20 minutes. So that's been the first third of this thing. So I think it could be fun, and I'm going to go through the rest of this process. But who here likes the idea of actually doing something in this course, like recording something and editing it? All right, cool. We'll give it a go. So if you get your apps out and ready to go, we'll do that in about 10 minutes.